Hey everybody, I'm Joe Killinger. I'm a real estate investor and entrepreneur, and we put these videos together every week to give you all the tips and insights from my experience over the last several years. So make sure you tune in and subscribe, and thank you. All right, for all you in commercial real estate, man, have I got a surprise for you today. I've got one of the top commercial real estate agents as far as marketing goes. I don't know about your market, Eddie, so you can educate us on that a little bit today. But, commercial real estate is evolving. And if you're a commercial real estate in the market right now, you need to understand that cold calling isn't the only way to go. You want to start bringing leads into you. And for that, I've reached out to Eddie Gonzalez. Eddie is a commercial broker in Phoenix. And Eddie, why don't you introduce yourself and your company?
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. My name's Eddie Gonzalez, commercial real estate advisor for almost 5 years. April is going to be my 5th year in commercial real estate. I like to say that I spent 14 years in commercial real estate. 14 years at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company. So I like to say that I bring the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company service to commercial real estate. My business partner was also in the hotel industry, and that's actually how we met 20 years ago. He went the real estate route, I went the hotel route, and then we met in 16.
Very nice.
So now we're on a team.
What did you do at the hotel industry? Industry?
Yeah, I started as a valet. We were both out there just parking cars, doing our thing, having a ton of fun.
Huh?
Yep, and I worked my way all the way up. So I was doing the valet parking, then I went to bellman, then I went to overnight bellman, then I went to doorman, then I went to door captain, and I was running the department.
So you learned customer service from the very beginning.
From the bottom up.
Well, and then what transitioned you into commercial real estate?
So Rami is my business partner. He and I were going back and forth pretty much quarterly, having lunches, talking, discussing what commercial real estate was all about. And his vision was truly bringing that Ritz-Carlton service into our industry. And we were talking and talking and talking. And just before the downturn, I was working on getting my license. That was 2006, 2007. And he came to me and he said, you know what, things are getting a little bit weird right now. I would suggest you stay with the hotel, which I did. Worked a few more years in the hotel. And I said, you know what, the Ritz-Carlton in Phoenix was about to close their doors. So I had several options. I could have went to Hawaii. I went and visited. It just wasn't a fit. I could have gone to Denver or Dallas. And truly, I wanted to stay in Phoenix. I was born and raised in Phoenix. I love it here. So I reached out to him. I said, hey, what about we reinvigorate this plan? And that's what we did. I went and got my license and joined his team.
Well, very cool. It's where did you learn to do the marketing? Is it just something you started studying, or you knew this was a niche that needed to be? How did you come up with it?
Yeah, so what I was doing, I was just playing with it. And initially, there was a team member on our team who wasn't keen on it. And she actually left our team. And I feel like after she had left, the world opened up to me. I met a gentleman named Bucky Beeman. He's out of Minnesota. And he became a little bit of a mentor to me and was teaching me on Snapchat what to do to push my brand. And I was embarrassed about it. I really was, because no one else in the office was doing it. I couldn't find anyone else who was doing it. And I went to my business partner and I said, listen, Rami, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to try. And what he said to me, he's like, either this is going to be a really good idea or a really bad idea, but it reminds me of myself and another broker in the Phoenix market who years ago started using Craigslist to push commercial listings, and they were kicking butt with it. He's like, this is your Craigslist to me. Yeah. He's like, I'm not going to be the face of it. You're the face of it, but I want you to run with it. And that's really how the whole thing got started.
I think I want to get into your numbers later about, what kind of volume it's bringing in. I mean, historically, this business for commercial real estate agents has been cold calling. cold calling. I mean, you saw Glenn Ross, right? Coffees for
Of
Closers.
course.
Yeah. And if you haven't, if you're new, you've got to watch that. But we've evolved a long way from then. And the thing is, these new apps that are coming out, they're really making it a lot easier to go out and bring people in. You don't just need to be cold calling. You need to be bringing people into you. And so that's something that I think is so key. And that's something that I think Eddie does so well, because I've watched Eddie's stuff for a while now, and every platform is different. What he does on TikTok to Instagram, it's all different. Know your environment. So on each platform. But why don't you walk us through if you don't mind telling us your strategy for each of the platforms and, how you're doing each one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So each platform has its own place. TikTok is where I would say at the moment, and all of these things change all the time. TikTok at the moment is where I spend the most of my time and push the most content. I like it because I'm a silly guy and I can get away with silly things over there. Literally branding and pushing different products and pushing different properties that I'm either selling or leasing, but I put a funny, lighthearted spin on almost all of that.
Well, and it's creative. Your creativity is what you really want to see Eddie's stuff, because he's always up to something, whether your thing this weekend with a black and white with a drone shot, incredible. Mm-hmm. And then you were showing something with a young lady that was, you're tying your shoe. It draws you in and makes it easier to pick up the phone and call you, because you can relate to all that. It's very relatable what you're doing.
Human to human, right?
Right.
And I feel like, so I'm going to take a little bit of a right turn here. My business coach the other day asked about cold calling. I don't cold call anymore.
You don't at all?
I do not cold call. Everything that I do is a warm call, because I'm reaching out on one of those products, one of those apps, before I'm making phone calls. So literally, I make 30 dials a day, and I would call all of those either conversations that I've already had in the past or somebody that I've reached out to on social media. And those little things, so that was my niece that you saw tying my shoe. Okay. I can't tell you how many times I pick up the phone call and they talk about how cute she is.
Yeah, sure.
It opens up the call. It opens things up. It's not that weird.
It's relatable. On the phone. I mean, anybody with a kid, it's relatable.
100%.
100%. Now, somebody new in the industry, I would say they probably still should be doing cold calls. Don't you agree?
Yes, I would agree with that. And what I would say also, we had a new gentleman on our team for a few months, and he ended up taking more of a corporate role. I really, really wish I would have had day one documented throughout my whole commercial real estate journey. I'm talking like day one, green is green, not knowing what a triple net lease is, not understanding that Starbucks doesn't own that building. Like, I knew zero about commercial real estate my first day in. I really wish that was documented.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'd be great. What a great tool that'd be. But, instead we get you here today to at least tell us about this aspect that you've really learned and become the king of all social media for commercial real estate, in my mind anyway, right? All right. So TikTok, what age range are you targeting there? Do you really target age range?
No, okay. I'm not. So what I'm doing on TikTok is targeting my neighborhood. I'm becoming a local celebrity by utilizing hashtags, which are either 602, 480, 623, or very specific zip codes. So I had a retailer reach out to me the other day. Hey, I'm in 85016. I saw your TikTok. I like what you're doing. Can we come in and talk about what's going on with my lease? And that's how easy it is.
Yeah.
It's just.
All right. Instagram. What are you doing there?
So Instagram is more connections on broker to broker. I started it thinking it was going to be national tenants. I was reaching out to tenants. It's turned into broker to broker. So all of the inbound stuff that's coming in, like Carol Snyder's a good friend of mine. We connected on Instagram. She's a master broker for a tenant. So we're doing a deal now because I made that connection on Instagram. So it's very much the broker. brokerage community, us communicating there, me showing what's going on in my market, but then bringing me leads. And that didn't happen by design. That's just something that came with time.
Yeah, you picked it up as you were doing it and learned it. Twitter?
I really don't use Twitter. I have a Twitter account, but I don't spend time there.
Yeah, it's how I met a lot of good brokers, and it's something I think most people should take a look at. I'm not good on it. I do utilize it, but I'm not really that strong on it. It's good for broker to broker for me, but I think if you're consistently putting information out about your market like you are and you're hashtagging it properly, I think it would be a very powerful tool as well.
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
I love LinkedIn, and I
Yeah.
feel like it's becoming a little bit more my style. I'll say when I first started 4 years ago technically, it was a little more stuffy.
Yep.
And I feel like it's getting personality. It has stories as well now, so that's nice to get in front of people with stories. So what I would say is the things that I'm doing on TikTok creativity-wise and silliness-wise don't necessarily fit on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But I can take similar content and make it make sense on LinkedIn.
Right. Now, who do you target customer clients on LinkedIn?
I do. Yeah, so I'm targeting a little bit of a mixture of both, so national versus local, but I really like to dive into like the economic departments here in Phoenix, city officials in Phoenix, but that's kind of my go-to, get my face in front of them, so when I do need assistance, they know who I am.
Right. You're creating value so they know to reach it. You'd be a great resource for them.
Absolutely.
Now, do you do Facebook?
I do this much Facebook. It's more personal than anything else. Okay. I have a business page that I'll kick things to periodically. I actually, on my last business plan meeting, Facebook is on it. So I do want to do a little bit more, and then also more on YouTube. I've had a YouTube channel for 3 years, but I did not post to it.
Yeah. Yeah. YouTube is something that I really picked up on about only 8 months ago. And it's very powerful. It's hard to get subscribers, but once you do, it can be a really powerful tool. And I think it's going to be a real great resource for us. So now, Facebook. One thing with Facebook, it is powerful, and I love the story. The stories part of it, and the groups. The groups are something you might want to take a look at as well, because I think that if you get in the right groups in your community, and again, what your guys need to hear Eddie saying is he's really focusing on his community, bringing value in his community, wants to be the resource. And, it's really powerful to really become that resource that everybody wants to reach out to. Now, do you use stories or reels in Instagram very often?
I just started using reels.
Yeah.
And the only reason why is because it's got the push behind it right now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very similar to TikTok, although you can't recycle your TikTok to reels because that little tiny stamp actually shows up and Instagram is now dinging you if it's there. So if you do it, there's a roundabout way to save your stories off TikTok and you can roll them over there. I like recycling, but I don't do a ton of it.
Do you take some of your old content and then chop it up and reuse it?
All the time.
Yeah, I think that's pretty powerful. You've created all this content, just reuse it on the different platforms. I think it works very, very well.
I'll give you one of my little hacks, Joe.
Yeah.
I use an app called InShot Pro, and it is very easy if you want to recycle or reuse or refix to chop videos up. And what I'll do, depending on where I'm going to put it, you could put the little stamps on the actual video. So if you look at the video that I did today on LinkedIn about canvassing, I took and put the LinkedIn stamp on it so it captures attention. And I'm probably going to do the same thing with that particular video over on Facebook. So I'll just replace the actual brand of LinkedIn with Facebook and then roll it over to Facebook.
That's powerful stuff. I didn't know that you could even do that. And thank you for the tip on that app. Creativity. Where do you get your creativity from? I mean, it's really, your stuff is very artistic yet informational, brings a lot of value. Where are you getting it? I mean, are you just naturally that creative, or are you just doing research all the time and coming up with this is what really works?
I'm glad that you brought the research part up. A lot of my content is me learning in the morning, reading different things, and then rolling it into my own videos.
Gotcha.
So that is something that has escalated my career, because now I know what's going on with most of everything that's in the news because I've read about it, and then I roll it into a video. One of my business partners sent me an article the other day about Fry's grocery store, Kroger, buying 220,000, I'm sorry, it was 15 acres to build 22,000 square foot building. And I'm like, oh yeah, here's this, and this, because I had done a video on it. So you do the video, you read it, and then you spit it back out, and now you have the market knowledge.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'd like to touch on strategy a little bit. You know, most of the people that are on all these social, there's a strategy behind it. You have a time that you post. You have, you know, obviously the different platforms you're posting different topics. But are you so focused on the time of day that you're posting, or are you just go ahead and post it?
I just go ahead and post it.
Okay.
So back to the creativity of it.
Yeah.
I would say 90% of the things that I'm posting about and doing are my day-to-day stuff. So I just turn the camera around and put it in my face. And everybody seemed to like this video where I struggled getting into a building that I'm selling because the key was sticky. So I put that on LinkedIn. And that thing just took off. Like everybody resonates with a key, and you can't get in the building, and the client's standing there, and it's embarrassing and it's funny. Those type of things seem to do really freaking well.
Well, it's relatable. We've all been there, right? You've got your client standing behind you, and all of a sudden that damn key doesn't work. You're like, oh Christ, is this me? Am I not doing this right?
Yeah. The other one that's great is the missing keys out of the box.
Oh yeah.
I did a full-on series with the keys missing out of the box. So yeah, it's just taking challenges that happen throughout your day, or every once in a while I'll take a note and be like, oh, that wall art or that mural, that would be something that would be really cool for people to learn more about.
Yeah. You use a lot of video, right? I see some.
Most of it, yeah,
most of it's video. That seems to be a strategy that most people are going with now. That I see. Is that what you're seeing as well?
Yes, I agree. It was weird. On LinkedIn, there was kind of this, I don't know exactly how the algorithm was working, but there was a time where pictures would work best.
Right.
And words were working best. And I feel like right now, video is where it's at. So that's kind of one of those things that I will tweak based on what I'm seeing.
Okay. Did you just start, you knew that you were going to go into using these platforms to draw in business. How are you staying on top of it? Are you just Googling every couple of weeks, new changes to Instagram algorithm, TikTok algorithm? How do you stay on top of that?
I wouldn't say that I Google it that frequently, but I'm in a group. It's called the Digital Army. We talk every week. So it's a group of commercial brokers. There's about 30 of us in the group right now. And we literally jump on a phone call every week, which is kind of rolling into a Clubhouse meeting. And we're talking about what's working, what's not working. So I'm studying my analytics all the time. Okay. And then I'm discussing with these ladies and gentlemen about weekly. And then honestly, it's just a trial and error. There's still some of my stuff that just absolutely flops that I think is genius, but other people don't like it.
Yeah, it's just, but you've put so much out that's so relatable and so easy to pick up the phone and contact you, because you've done such a good job bringing the Arizona, that Phoenix market. There's nobody else you think about. It's like, well, Eddie's everywhere. You just pop up on my feed constantly, and it's just, I know where I need to go if I have something in Arizona. On your growth from day one that you started, how did you, and I'm sure you monitor this, what did your growth look like as far as business being generated from being on there? Was it instant? Was it 5 months, 6 months, a year?
Yeah, it was well over a year before stuff's really started coming in. And now I kind of joke that somehow, some way, 100% of my business is revolving around social media. Whether it's somebody that sees something and then passes my name along, or another broker that's pushing business my way, that there's a weird touch point throughout literally every transaction that social media is having a point. So it took time. It's exactly, if you go back to the analogy of making the phone calls, right? You make this many phone calls to talk to this many people, to have this many meetings, to do this many proposals.
Sure, yeah.
Same thing on social. It takes time. I feel like the main difference of a one-to-one cold call versus a post is you've got one-to-one versus you've got a post that could reach hundreds of thousands of people in some circumstances.
Right. Yeah. Now, your quality of content is something that looks like you really focus on, but are you focused more on quality or quantity, or both?
I appreciate you saying that, because I don't consider my stuff high quality. I don't use special lighting. I literally use an iPhone, and I'm just going about my day. So my secret, though, is InShot Pro. And a dear friend of mine, Chelsea Pites, who does mostly residential coaching, she's the one that told me about it. And I've got to the point, and I was showing a couple other people, where to do some of those videos where you do little transitions, you throw a few filters on it, I can do those in like 2 or 3 minutes now. Because I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
So it's
Gary Vaynerchuk always pushes quantity over quality. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I just kind of see that if you're putting a couple pieces of content out that are really quality, great value, instead of pushing 10 out that are moderate value, it's kind of a discussion, I guess, that you need to have with yourself before you start doing all this. Because, creating this content takes time. How long does it take you to do one of your videos?
It doesn't take long anymore. It really depends.
After this many years, yeah.
Yeah. So at first, and here's something that I'm going to tell you, and you're going to think I'm crazy for. One and done is my mantra. So if I screw it up, it's either going to be a blooper video, or you'll see some of my videos where I go in to say whatever, and I learned this from Chelsea actually, and I'm doing my video, and then I'll just go, bleh. Okay, get that out of the way, and then just keep going.
Yeah.
And people seem to relate to that as well. Like if it's too polished and too good, I feel like you're not human.
Right. Yep, I agree. All right. Clubhouse. You're on Clubhouse.
I am.
What do you think of that?
It's a time suck that I love.
Yeah, it is. It can be an addiction. And, it goes back to like we said earlier about how CRE is evolving. It's people are sharing tips. I mean, years ago, I could have reached out to 100 agents and said, hey, I want to do this video for commercial real estate agents, how to market themselves on social. Well, I guess social wouldn't have been around. Nobody would have done it.
Right.
Now, everybody, and I think a lot of this is Clubhouse has really moved this along a lot faster, is commercial real estate people are on here talking about what they're doing in their market and what's working. And, I think it's something that this business is evolving very, very quickly.
I agree. Here's my secret to success on Clubhouse. You have to schedule Clubhouse like you would schedule a meeting. Yeah. There's some of those Clubhouse rooms that are scheduled for an hour that will go 6 or 7 hours. And it's all really good content, but you're going to blow your whole day on good content, but are you getting your work done? Yeah. So that's my thing now. I actually got a DM from a friend last night, missed you on Clubhouse. And I'm like, dude, I haven't responded back, but I'm thinking to myself, I have to schedule this because otherwise it is what it is. Now, what I do like to do, I watch this much TV. So I would use all of my downtime listening to podcasts. I was the guy that listened to Gary Vaynerchuk literally every morning. I listen to him a lot too. Yeah, I looked at my podcast feed today, and I'm kidding you not, literally every morning. There's 19 in my hopper for Gary Vee right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking my podcasting time and I'm now clubhousing instead.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Clubhouse, I agree. And when you're on it, you need to be paying attention. I got caught last week. Somebody asked me something. I was kind of dilly around my house, and I'm like, oh God. I'm like, all right, I'll give it my best shot. So pay attention. But it's really, if you really focus on what you're trying to learn, I've picked up tips on Clubhouse that I'm like, man, I never thought about that. And so very powerful tool.
Yeah, I got some really helpful lease renewal, lease negotiating tips from a very experienced person on there that I would have never thought about. Okay, he's seen probably tens of thousands of transactions. I've seen hundreds, maybe thousands of transactions, but I'm like, whoa, I never thought about going that direction at it. And he's like, try it. And it works. So,
yeah. One last thing, Eddie, I know you're busy, so I appreciate you taking the time to do this, but, I see a lot of drone videos happening. Can you kind of, and you use it once in a while, I guess, so can you kind of walk us through what has to be done?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that I manage my drone videos, there's an app, and it's put out through DJI, and it's getting to the point where it's very challenging and you need to get a license, which is called a Part 107 license. It's basically a license that you get through the FAA. Pretty simple testing process, 65 questions, but it gives you a little bit more flexibility as to where you can fly. So you'll notice right now where I'm flying is all in my area of focus, which is my neighborhood, which thank goodness I can fly in my areas. So if you get down to closer towards the airport, you're not able to fly my drone down there right now because of the FAA regulations. So you just have to be really careful. I think it does depend on what drone you're flying, but it will dictate where you can and where you cannot fly. So you just need to be cognizant of it, and you have to be smart about it, right? It's a flying object. Yeah. So you don't have to. I would highly suggest that you get insurance. So there's different insurance companies that you can either get a monthly plan, or you can go based on each flight, which is going to give you coverage if the thing falls out of the sky and you start a traffic accident. That could be really, really bad. People could get hurt. So you just have to be cognizant. And that's something that I didn't know when I first started flying, is you're not supposed to fly over moving traffic. I did not know that. You're not allowed to fly over groups of people. So there's just little rules and regulations that you need to study, you need to know before you get out there and start doing it.
How many drones have you been through?
That's a good question. So I've been through 4 of them.
Okay. How many of them wrecked?
2 of them got wrecked. I've got my old drone here and then the new drone here.
Okay.
I am a diehard DJI fan.
All right.
And yeah, I absolutely love the thing. The first model that came out was the DJI Mavic Pro. Got that one. 2 of them fell out of the sky. Then I had the 3rd one over here. And then when the new one came out, which is the Mavic 2 Pro, I got that one. It's just got a better sensor on it, stronger motors. The 3 was supposed to come out last year. When it comes out, I'm going to get it.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, it's the video content you're putting out. It's amazing. So, Eddie, thank you very much for coming on today. Is there anything else, any other tips that you have for new people in commercial real estate that, as far as marketing goes, what they should be doing?
Yeah, it's just going to be tough at first. You have to stick with it. Even if your posts get 1 or 2 hits, I'm going through that right now on YouTube because it's just that growing process. Just keep putting out content. Just keep doing it. Patience, exactly.
Patience is got it. It will build. You'll find your followers and bring value every time. And that is something that Eddie is exceptional at, is bringing value. His posts, if you need to know anything about Phoenix, this is the guy you can reach out to. Matter of fact, Eddie, I'm going to put all your contact info. Actually, why don't you give us your contact information, and then I will also post it on the video.
So the easiest way to get to me is either text message on cell phone, which is 602-510-2204. One more time, 602-510-2204. Or you can find me on Instagram, and it's really easy to send me a direct message there. AZ Commercial Real Estate. One word, no gaps, AZ Commercial Real Estate.
Very good. And again, we're going to put your contact information down below. So if you guys want to reach out to Eddie, reach out direct or reach out to me, and we will get you in contact with him if you have any questions about Arizona commercial real estate. And if you haven't done so, make sure you do subscribe and hit that like button, please. So
thanks, Joe.
All right, Eddie. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.